everyone, and welcome to the HSEL Nationals. It is an amazing day for Overwatch. We are looking forward to seeing the matchup today as we look to try and again see which one of these teams is going to go into the opportunity to try and claim that prize pool.
There's kids that are in my program that would walk around and have nobody at school to talk to. And now those same kids have like a great group of friends. They're happier. Their parents are ecstatic. Why wouldn't you want to give that to a group of kids that don't have it? Just because you don't understand it.
Okay, yes, they're playing video games, but you gotta look past that and also see why are they playing it and what are they doing with it.
There's not a lot of knowledge about gamers out there, you know, so people just don't know what they don't know.
It's really collaborative, like a sport. I mean, it is a sport. I mean, it's new that I think it's hard for people to understand that it's a sport.
They have to develop teamwork like any other physical game does.
We got to get rolling. This is where it becomes big time. We've been working all year for this. SLP on 3. 1, 2, 3. SLP!
Thank you so very much for all of you who have tuned in and watched the HSEL Nationals. The 5-map pool today will be Hollywood, Kings Row, Nepal, Lijiang Tower, and Oasis.
I mean, it's interesting to see just how many schools there are this year and how many schools you're beating out to be in the top 8. It's insane.
Joseph is our youngest. He's 17. He was diagnosed with autism at age 4. Not an excuse. He's still Joseph.
Everybody is welcome. You want to come play esports for me? Come play for me. That is the mentality that we have in esports. All right, here we go. St. Louis Park looking for that repeat national title. The only number 1 seeds left in the tournament. Nova Kid does drop. Tosi is now on. Now he's feeling it. Get these shots, Tosi. Now he's feeling it. Boom. The point of this is for people to find a place where they belong, make friends, learn discipline, learn teamwork, learn reaction to setbacks.
Triple kill coming out in favor of SLP as they now are starting to look to turn it around.
Frank, I got you. Nice job here. You're confident.
Another solid hold here with an entire team kill for SLP.
When he plays, he wins.
To see if they can keep it into overtime, and that's not going to be enough. That will be SLP claiming the first 3 victories here, best of 5, and they will be going into the finals.
Well, we move on.
As a good friend of me once said many times actually, get up and get loud because it is game day, and not just any game day. You could call it game week. You could call it grand finals week for the High School Esports League 2021 Spring Major. And it all starts today. Happy Monday, folks. We have got an entire week stacked with esports action, and we are delighted that you are going to join us here, us being, of course, IRLeague, Digital Bacon, and Evanescence over on production. It's the big time, Bacon. It's the big time. This is where the scholarship money is earned.
Yeah, so much money up for grabs, and of course, across so many different games this week, our league. We're kicking off with Rocket League, but tomorrow we'll be heading on into Rainbow Six Siege. On Wednesday, we've got some Overwatch, and of course, Thursday is a doubleheader, Smash Brothers and chess, and then, of course, to finish it all off on Friday, it's Valorant, the new hit from last summer.
And of course, that does mean that if you want to be kept up to date with all of the action, if you want to be tuning in to all of those broadcasts, then maybe you should do yourself a favor and give this channel a cheeky little follow. Maybe subscribe if you so fancy. But what's happening up today then? Well, Monday, Bacon, it's all about that grand final, isn't it? But building up the hype, we have ourselves some highlights packages. We have a little recap of the season so far. We'll have a little casual conversation about who we liked, who we see going forward, who we are going to be seeing going forward, with highlights of the quarterfinals, with the semi-finals, before, of course, the main course arrives. And no, it's not Zaxby's. It is, in fact, a grand final match. A best of 7 as per usual, but a reminder that $3,000 is on the lines for these teams in regards to scholarship money, at least. It's a big day, and when it comes to these grand finals, at least historically, whilst we've been on the broadcasts, Bacon, they have often been sweeps, and so the pressure really does get to these teams.
Yeah, we don't want to see any more of those sweeps. What I want to see right now is the final standings, how we got here, our league. So, Evan, if you could, our beautiful assistant behind the camera, of course, this is the standings before we got into these playoffs. Our league, OKM, Heritage, the only 2 teams to go undefeated. Of course, We'll get a little bit of surprise later on, but let's not go into that because we got to see so many fantastic teams this season, didn't we? And this is only the top 16. How about we show 17 through to 32 as well?
Yeah, so as you can see there, 7 wins and you were pretty much guaranteed through. As it turned out, 6 wins would be enough. But check out HHS1 there. The first team of what was it? It was Hicksville High School, wasn't it? And we were looking at them late season and we're thinking they've surely arrived on the scene too late, but there is never a too late when it comes to the high school esports league. Yes, the competition has been tougher than ever, but on a 5-0 record, they made it in. They played their cards perfectly, Bacon, and they are as deserving in the top 32 as anyone else here. And as we see heading into the actual best of 32 knockout gauntlet that was to occur over the last week or so, turns out that they actually proved their might once again.
Yeah, so only 5 games played, but of course, with that 5-0, they stacked themselves above all the other 5-2s that we tend to see at that point. And from what we could hear, this was a team that was there from week 1, but could only play a certain number of games. Well, they made them worth it, didn't it?
Absolutely. So you saw those 32 teams there. We're going to cover a bunch of different stories. As I say, there's quarterfinal and semi-final highlights to come. But in the meantime, let us get the simmer on, shall we? Let's turn on the gas cooker. Let's get our stock going, and let's take a little look at how the season unraveled. a little taste of perhaps the action to come. Hicksville there featured, ironically enough, for the first time on stream here in the grand finals. But as you can probably guess from those highlights, they are a pretty good outfit indeed. Mr. Bacon, we have more story to tell. We've had a look at the prologue now. It's time to deep dive into the book, into the opening chapters. And, well, we're not going to start from the very top of the bracket. Of course, there were 32 teams. That's a lot of games to go through. But we are going to begin our journey, at least on stream, at the quarterfinals. And we've got 2 highlights packages to show the teams today.
That we do. We want to keep some of the experience, some of the mystery there for the players and, of course, the fans at home. But we also don't have all the time in the world this evening. So what you can see right here is the round of 32 and the round of 16 being played on out. This is the top halves. This is the top 16. Not really ranked in any order, as you can see, but just to see some of those very important results. OKM making it through to those quarterfinals where they'll be facing off against the Cougars. On the opposite end, HN Green Team going up against Hicksville High School. 20th seed versus 28th, beaten out, you know, your 4th seed, your 5th, all the way up there. Incredible run for some of these teams, hey, League?
Yeah, and seeing the likes of Snyder dropping, the Minnetonka Terror dropping, the Milford Hawks dropping, F1 SA, one of the teams with the most appearances on stream, also dropping in a Game 7 thriller against Dog Dynasty, who themselves lost against OKM. Keep an eye on that Green Team versus HHS matchup. We'll be coming to that a little bit later, but as we head on over to the lower side of our bracket, we will see the teams that we're going to be starting off our broadcast with in regards to highlights. So there you can see Cloud9, one of our very top teams. They were undefeated for a long time, weren't they, Cloud9? PWHSA. That was the quarterfinal on that side of the bracket with McClintock there. You can see they're dropping to Cloud9. Another Game 7 thriller. So BWHSA having to beat out Willow Glen. We loved seeing those guys, of course. You see the LHS Lancers there dropping to Willow Glen. And so sometimes the bracket plays your way, sometimes it doesn't. But for our first quarterfinal highlights package, Bacon, I'm super looking forward to seeing how this match ended out. La Cueva versus Flugerville. Now, the Harmony Science Academy, we loved these guys, didn't we? They were showing so much teamwork, so much cooperation with each other, and they fought up against opponents that when you looked at their rank averages, although they were meant to be competitive, yes, they weren't necessarily expected to beat them. La Cueva, however, were undefeated during the season, weren't they, Bacon? 8-0. That is a scary record, even for a team as good as Flugerville.
It really is. And so Flugerville always showed some signs of weakness where they could just drop off. I mean, remember the very last week we got a commentator over it was Flugerville going up against Dog Dynasty in super close matches. When you get up to the top of the table, when you got in the Swiss bracket as well, the best going up against the best, you get this super tense atmosphere, almost like in those final weeks. We were seeing these quarterfinals right now. But the difference is those quarterfinals, those playoff brackets can breed an entire new atmosphere where it's only a single all-in bracket. So every single match is do or die. Hence why you can see teams ranked, say, 20th, 28th seed, you know, up towards that top end, really push on through. But the top seed's hanging on with us into those quarterfinals. Not really an upset just yet, hey?
No major upsets, no. But anything can happen in knockout gauntlets, especially with no actual lower bracket to jump into if you were to lose a series. It's cutthroat here. And I think it's time to add some spice to our excitement soup as we continue to turn up the heat. Flugerville versus La Cueva Varsity. Let's see what happened. And so Vapid, Bacon. Vapid was really one of the star players, and one of the things that we noticed from Flugerville was their ability to switch in and out. They had a 4-team squad. Jodu there, PSC Diego sometimes moving in and out. but they were suspect sometimes at the back, a little bit disjointed, as you say, when caught out. And La Cueva, we know, one of the strongest teams in the competitions here, although despite going 1-0 down in game number 1, eventually wrestling the tides in their favor, bringing it over to 2-1. Vapid, though, once again stepping up to bring it to 2-2. The timer hitting 0. You expect nothing more to come of it, perhaps. Overtime on the horizon, and that is eventually what happened.
Yeah, but on the opposite end, when we're looking on over towards La Cueva, I've got to say, Modulo was a standout performance for them. And it's so excited to see this, because, again, Modulo was a fair bit above the others. You know, it was a Supersonic Legend. The other two just sitting on towards those sort of champ levels. I'm just double checking those grand champ levels, sorry, the lower ones. So, again, at that point, you're looking at a big rank difference. Almost, for some of the guys at home, the difference between, say, Plat 1 and Diamond 1, which is quite noticeable. But Modulo was able to fit in his teammates, and that was such an important factor to their game, was that he wasn't being show-offy. He wasn't the one that was really, I don't want to say doing the bits, he got goals, but he wasn't just, you know, freestyling on his opponents and then forgetting about his teammates. It was all about the teamwork for La Cueva.
Another game, another lead for Flugerville, but this time around, they were able to convert it into a victory, a 3-1 victory, in fact, doing a lot more on the defensive side, being a lot more clinical with their saves, being a lot more clinical with their clearances, and PFC Diego once again stepping up in the offensive third, actually, which is quite a surprise, but this, an absolute calamity at the back, and less than a minute and a half in as well. Jodu and Vapid effectively tripping over each other and giving La Cueva their first go-ahead goal lead in a game. Game number 3, of course, a backbreaker in best of 5s, but a bit of a trendsetter in best of 7s, as we've already gone over, Bacon. You can see they got a 2-0 lead, but by the time we reach 30 seconds, once again, Flugerville showing their stuff. Diego, once again, having an absolute cracker of a match, scoring yet another goal, and yet another overtime for these teams to contend with.
Yeah, clearly so close between these two sets of players. Of course, 30 going up against 11. Looky here. Flugerville being able to take it again, that lower seed of the two. La Cueva, third seed coming on into this. La Cueva did do sometimes get backed into a wall, and they do struggle to get on out, but they've got a lot of gusto about them. They've got a lot of perseverance. You can see getting the opening goal here in game number 4.
2 go-aheads for Flugerville, 2 go-aheads for La Cueva. And of course, they wouldn't want the match to evolve as it did in game number 3. The 3 was the magic number, as they managed to evolve their lead to not just that, but 4-0. And keep an eye on that clock, by the way. Only 3 minutes, or rather only a minute and a half expended. And as you can see, expended is very much the word I would use for Flugerville. A complete, just evaporation of confidence at the back that did eventually yield 1 goal. The legendary Brazil achieved at 8 seconds, but Vapid, by this point, Bacon, we were noticing, oddly absent. It had been Diego stepping up, Vapid there with one of his only goals of the series to this point, and the Cueva Varsity with a huge game as they head into number 5.
Not just La Cueva turning the screws, making things very awkward for Flugerville, and then stepping up to that next level. When you're going into game 5 like this, after being Braziled, the mental hurts so much. Good to see, though, the lads on over for Flugerville to be able to pick it up once again, but just not able to get it down in time to even things out and get us to OT. So that's now sitting 3-2 in favor to La Cueva.
It just felt like all the momentum was going their way, but Vapid starting to show up once again. Bit of a hero's leap there to get the game to 1-1. And another hero's leap there to get this one away to the side, but constant pressure from La Cueva, seeing the scoreline make its way to 2-2. But there is the Vapid that we know and love. Was it a fake? Was it a dribble? Well, La Cueva didn't really know, as Mason there with the most outrageous pass to Varsity to make it 3-3. And as you can see, by the end of the game, a fourth had been scored, and Flugerville had been put away in the box bacon. A 4-2 victory for La Cueva. And ultimately, again, with these sort of knockout tournaments, sometimes the pressure does get to players. And I think that with the back against the wall, maybe Vapid started to show a little bit more. But in those first couple of games, quite quiet. Diego, the one having to step up. Ultimately, great experience for all of these guys. Jodo in particular, who got to play all of those games. There was no chopping and changing like we usually see. However, I'm sure they'll be looking at this as a lost opportunity, and I would not be surprised to see them arrive here back in the summer, which, of course, has just opened registration.
Yeah, July the 5th, I hear. Whispering in the wind. All right, Lakers, when things start, of course, just before that, we'll be having our little preseason when you can sign up, test out format, practice against some other schools. But before even that, we've got some more highlight reels to play before we get into the grand finals here. So let's see another quarterfinals. This time going HN Esports versus HHS.
So yeah, this the first, I guess, full-on debut for Hicksville on stream. Undefeated in the season with only 5 victories and I mean just, slipping in. As you rightly say, they're late in terms of their emergence into the actual playoff picture. However, they weren't here from the beginning. It was just a lack of time, really, to get matches on the board. It's worked out in their favor, though, and they come into today, really, and they come into the story as underdogs, but with real venom about them. And as you can see here, in terms of the first game, there wasn't much to say for HN Esports Green Team. A 4-0 smacking, no goal scored for the team in orange.
We do sometimes see these game 1 openers where a team is just warmed up and ready to come on into it, and straight out the gates can get that very early shutdown. But the beauty of running these best of 7s is that you've got so much time to recuperate. So going into game 2, that is where I had HN here. Okay, I'm here on screen. Are really going to have to show their worth, because that's like almost, okay, you've had your warm-up, you've experienced what your opponent throws at you, and now this is when you've really got to play.
Shout out to Saucy's car, by the way, one of the most beautiful liveries, and really what stood out for me from Hicksville here was their accuracy on target. It wasn't just necessarily that they were shooting at the goal from anywhere on the pitch either. They were making really good opportunities, which was making HN Esports work. This is the first real good dribble play, and Caden with a well-deserved equaliser with 18 seconds on the clock left as well in game number 2. A much-needed first goal of the series. And from here, for a team that has conceded 5 and only scored 1, overtime does seem like a great opportunity to sort of bite one back, and indeed overtime is what they achieved. As we head towards the end of overtime, though, 48 seconds played, you can almost see what's coming. Flaky with bumps in net, Saucy in with a brilliant shot above the keeper with great pace as well. And that was 2-0 for HHS.
Yeah, defense just not set up for this. They needed someone to come out and challenge Saucy on the ball there. Choco Thunder, I'm looking towards you, but unfortunately, where he's sitting back in net, he can't move out. It's simple as soccer for you Americans. I was about to say football. Basically, you want to push on out because you're closing down the amount of space that is available. You're closing down the angle. That radius gets smaller, the cone, if you can imagine it. Yeah, 2-0 already. And the first goal in game 3 going straight to Flaky. It was a pretty one on top of that. And now you can start to, you know, get into your own head if you're on the downsided team.
So we have changing rooms in football, you have locker rooms in America, and I think what is very clear for everyone to see is that there is plenty in the locker of this Hicksville squad. We did see 1 goal gotten back. It's from Caden once again. Beautifully placed Bar-Dowski shot. Couldn't have been put much better. And ultimately, quality on both sides of the pitch really was in full effect. But Saucy having a pop-off game. Just unbelievable audacity to get a sort of musty flick, going for then the redirect pump on Choco Thunder. And as you can see here, 3-1 the eventual scoreline as Hicksville headed onto match point.
Scary, looking down the barrel, being forced swept. Not the way you want to go out on OKM now. Give it your all, just for pride's sake. Get one game back. And of course, on the opposite end, when you're at Hicksville, you can sort of get a little bit overconfident, can't you, Ira League?
Yes, you can. And it's once again Caden, the man to punish. Lovely, just control of his car off the corner. That is an incredibly difficult skill. Goodness knows how many times I've pressed the X button and found myself not jumping at all. But there is, as I say, plenty more where that came from when you look at Hicksville. And within 30 seconds, it was back to a tie game. It then went ahead 2-1 through this flaky lift. It's not necessarily about the power on this one. It's actually about the lack of power that just completely defeated the keeper. Saucy destroying another keeper. And Callus, I mean, bless Caden, doing as much as he could there. But yet another goal going against them. And so you've got to give huge props to Caden. I think he had a great game, a great series, despite the fact that they lost that 4-0 overall. But Hicksville looked scary. They were the horror film in that particular scenario, and they scared HN Esports off the field. Saucy in particular, well, living up to his name. Some saucy maneuvers there as they progressed in the bracket.
That is so true, and it just makes me so excited to see some of these players later on our league. But I think we've got a little bracket. Keep us updated so that we can see where that puts us before coming into this one. So, can we please get that 18 bracket come up on screen so we can see where we are heading on into the semi-finals, that OKM versus HHS match that we just talked about popping up on our screens. We just saw that now. Heritage High on the opposite side are playing up against La Cueva, but notice it, top 3 seeds made it this far, our league, but HHS 28th seed are going to be our first confirmed grand finalist.
Yeah, and again, it sort of makes you think they were undefeated. And although you can look at it and say, oh, but they only won 5 games, again, we have to consider the fact that they didn't have as much time to play those games in. So, yes, there was some element of luck that they got there, but they made those chances count. And so, although they are the 28th seeds, as I say, there's a bit of venom. It's almost like a cute puppy dog with lovely puppy dog eyes, but then he opens his mouth to reveal some sort of fangs laced in poison and all horrible things. And when we see this match, especially with OKM, you got to look there. OKM actually proceeding through because of a forfeit by the Cougars. Going into that semi-final, they didn't have the benefit of a warm-up quarter-final. They were effectively cold going into this match. And so you could say Hicksville with the advantage there, but look at that, the 2 and 3 seeds in Clout 9 in La Cueva. What a semi-final that would be turning out to be. But before we head into semi-final territory, before we talk about, you know, the likes of summer, we've got to talk about what comes before summer. Of course, July 5th, the date that you provide there, that's when everything gets underway. It's all lovely and whatever. But certainly something that's not whatever, something that you want to be keeping an eye on, something that you want to certainly note down in your diaries is the dates June 14th to June 25th. And what happens on June 14th to June 25th is something in regards to our wonderful partners at Intel, the Intel Winners Circle. The Intel Winners Circle is an invitational tournament. As I say, it takes place over the 14th to 25th of June, and it features some of the best school esports teams nationwide competing for over $50,000 in scholarship prizes. That's just great. $50,000, and that's including a guaranteed $1,000 in scholarships to every participating school's esports teams. That's a huge investment from Intel. And so major props to them for giving esports teams in schools a huge opportunity to really not just, help give them some momentum, to help give them some confidence, to not just help give them a platform, but give them genuinely huge cash prizes to fight over. The matches for the top teams for Overwatch, Valorant, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will all be streamed live on this very Twitch channel. So twitch.tv/Generation Esports. I said you'd want to follow for the rest of the week coming up when it comes to the Spring Major Grand Finals. I said you'd want to follow potentially for the summer event, of course, coming up in July and August. You want to follow for the Intel Winners Circle. It is going to be a fantastic, fantastic event. And so, Bacon, what's up next?
We've got the top fives coming on up next. Let's just let this one roll because some beautiful plays in that one.
to talk about, Bacon, our grand finals. And so let's take a little look. We're getting stuck in. I mean, the soup has been made with sort of like a... And we're gonna taste it. It's gonna be delicious. So let's have a little look at the bracket, shall we? And let's talk about those semi-final results overall. Of course, cover the quarter-final results if you weren't with us for the first part of the broadcast. So we talked about that HN smacking from Hicksville. We talk about La Cueva beating Flugerville. Of course, Cloud9 going through on PWHSA team, and OKM1 getting that bye from the Cougars forfeit. The semi-finals then, it was more of the same for it, wasn't it, from Hicksville? Smacking OKM first team, another 4-0, 2 4-0s in a row. We have seen this sort of form before, and it is generally, and, well, goodness knows, golly, led to usually crowning champions. And look at La Cueva there, winning 1-0. That's because there was unfortunately another forfeit this time from Clout9. We do not see the top teams forfeiting, especially this late into the competition. And so were La Cueva let off the hook? Maybe, maybe not. But it does mean that from coming into the bracket as potential underdogs with a bit of sting in their tail, it's a very weird dog I'm talking about, isn't it? Or snake, or I keep on changing the animal. But they have gone from the underdogs to arguably now the favourites heading into this final best of 7.
Yeah, and before we get on into these rosters, our league, I think there's a new teammate here at HSEL that we need to talk about here, buddy. Someone else is joining our roster, aren't they?
They really are, and what an exciting opportunity it is as well. The HSEL is excited, very excited indeed, to join forces with NASEF. Now, what does NASEF stand for? It stands for the North America Scholastic Esports Federation. And if there's anything with Federation in the title, then you know that me, my real name being James T. Kirk, I'm very excited about that indeed. They provide free scholastic esports programs to help you learn how to turn your love for esports into an awesome career, something that we desperately need more of in schools. Students can participate in free tournaments, scrims, and esports-based challenges. Free resources are available for educators to lead scholastic esports programs in and out of the classroom. So whether you're looking at it for potentially adding it to your curriculums, or whether you're looking at potential clubs, whether you're looking at building teams to take part in stuff like the HSEL, this is a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic resource to utilize. Game, grow, learn, and lead with NASEF, and create your free esports club today. The place to go, folks, is nasef.org. That is NASEF.org. Very exciting news. Great, wonderful, fantastic, and prosperous partnership for the high school esports league as esports continues to grow as not just a legitimate career path, but a legitimate passion project for so many students.
Yeah, and learning so many skills. So thank you, NASEF, once again for being the carry this team needs. But talking about teams, our league, we have got 2 coming on up. It's La Cueva and Hicksville. We need to talk about these players because La Cueva, we know through and through. Of course, we've been able to see them a couple of times before on the broadcast in previous weeks. Modulo, Boxity, and Mason. On the opposite end, though, the newcomers for us anyway, because we didn't really get a chance. Generally, when we're looking at teams where they're looking for those top 16 for those feature matches, and then looking back because we had over 450 teams sign on up for Rocket League, so many to choose from. So Hicksville sort of just slipped under the radar. Flaky, Callous, and Saucy. Looking at these ranks, it's no wonder they're here. Saucy, the SSL, Supersonic Legend, for anyone that's not in the know at home, don't know the acronyms. Flaky, being a Grand Champion 3, and then, of course, Callous, a Grand Champion 2. That is of last time we took notes. So, again, La Cueva, in near enough the exact same position. This is going to be one heck of a finals, isn't it?
I'm really looking forward to it. And we saw Saucy popping off in the highlights, didn't we? And you know what? There's some great heart and reason behind that. Saucy and Callous, both seniors. And so this isn't just their first appearance in the finals, Bacon. It's going to be their last appearance in the finals. Once these guys are done here, they are ineligible for High School Esports League action. And so they're going to become alumni, and they want to become alumni with the Rocket League crowns sat firmly atop their heads. Very exciting times indeed then as we kick off in a best of 7 as per usual, and lovely to see some custom colours coming out here for both teams. In the red is going to be HSEL, in the white, the silver, the black is going to be La Cueva, and it's going to be HSEL in the red, in red hot form bacon, kicking things off. Saucy with a little pop down there, Callus baiting out the goalkeeper, and a 3-player move turns into an opening goal with 4 minutes 20 left on the clock.
A beautiful start by Saucy. They put the ball under control to go then after the bump. Not really getting it. The follow-up then, of course, like you said before, coming on through, does pull out the defender, and it's the third man rotating on in a terrific opening play. And I've got to say, for everyone at home, this is not like previous weeks. This is not a recording. This is live right now. And so, of course, we're going to have a little bit of a break between games because this is an East Coast versus West Coast matchup server-wise, as it's more mid-east of Europe there. So there will be a little bit of server hopping, so we could see a massively back-and-forth series.
See their box team maybe looking for a chance, and oh, Callus! Oh, Saucy! Oh, Callus! Oh, HSEL, how did you get away with that?
I don't know, our league, just by the skin of their teeth. Saucy going for a flip reset, actually throws it towards net, somehow being able to clutch it on out, but it's a little bit wide. Boxty stopping that in tracks, but this ain't getting stopped. Calix is going to be there. Thank you, Flaky. I'll finish this one.
They've ripped off their sleeves, the muscles are out, they're flexing. So much creativity in front of net already from HSEL, and already you get a vibe that the Cueva trying to fight back on the counter-attack here, and certainly thinking back to that helter-skelter moment where Boxty really should have put it away. We should be talking about 1-1. Thankfully for them, it is a best of 7, so even if things don't go their way here in the next 3 minutes or so of game number 1, still plenty of time to find their form. But Callus, I mean, there's such an aura of cool about this team. I mean, look at Flaky there, taking it all the way to his own backboard, but knowing that he'll get that double touch, it will move away. Modulo, that's a lovely pass though, and doesn't find Boxty again. He doesn't want these mistakes to start piling up.
No, he does not. Over on the opposite end, just no mistakes at all. Attack, attack, attack. HSEL just relentless. La Cueva suddenly at half time of this game 1 looking like they have no answers to this unrelenting force.
Every time they go forward, you almost expect the sirens to go off. Cueva into the midfield once again. Mason to help it on, and he helped it on mightily indeed. Flaky with a quick turn makes the save. The counter-attack now on the way, and Modulo completely missing that touch. Callus forced to back up here. Saucy, it's a melee in the midfield as Boxty does get there first. Modulo over the top of Callus, looking for the redirect. Oh, it's off the post. Oh my word, this is a hugely qualitative game, but the Cueva just aren't getting the rub of the green.
Truly worthy of the grand finals. Mason with a belter there, but Flaky's going to be able to deny. Boxty wanting to take this downfield, connects with Modulo, back to Boxy, looking for Modulo once again, but Flaky is going to be the denier to send it downfield, starting out a very quick counter. Looking for Saucy, looking for Flaky, lingers in the middle. Saucy's got the boost to just be a nuisance. Set it on up for Flaky, who gets the double touch. That right there is a screamer.
At the end of the day, it is HSEL that has taken their chances. Lovely read from Flaky off the backboard. And although I would say that 3-0 in fact probably flatters HSEL, you've now got to look at La Cueva and say, well, okay, you've had these opportunities. Simply put, you've got to rub game 1 out of your memories here. Because you can't play like this and expect HSEL to just let you off the hook time and time again. This is a team that has come to play with panache, with flair, and with heart. I am so impressed with what I'm seeing. Varsity, is there a chance to impress me here? It was off the backboard. It was well covered by 2 players into the midfield. Reset here for Modulo. Looking for Varsity. He chases, but Callis with a deft touch there. Not going to beat out Mason. Looking for the Doomsy dish, but Varsity again. That is 3 chances to score a goal. It's 3 chances which he simply hasn't connected with the ball, Bacon. I know it's a nervous situation, but this goal might just give him so much of a weight off his shoulders, really. It's 3-1. A little bit too late to the party, though.
It is, but not for this series. Again, a best of 7 EuroLeague. This game 1 just felt like HSEL came out the gates, not running, not sprinting, but on like motorbikes and just absolutely got ahead of the competition. La Cueva now making the right adjustments, being able to get their predictions on in. Going into game 2, this can still go any way whatsoever. La Cueva have just got to be ready.
Okay. That was arguably, in terms of actual maneuvers that we've seen on the field, the best that we've seen all season. I'd say so. I mean, you look at those shot counters, and it's not like they had many chances, but it's actually the quality of chances that they made. And remember, La Cueva there, and especially Varsity, we could be talking about 3 extra shots on top of what they had there. It might have been 3 extra goals. You don't expect every single opportunity to go into the back of the net. But 3-1, I don't know. I feel like La Cueva have got more up their sleeve, and that should give them at least a boon of confidence, knowing that despite how good HSEL are, they can match up to them if they find those connections.
Well, I really have got a little tip for you here, buddy. Like we said, East Coast, West Coast servers. La Cueva might just be in a bit of a disadvantage. So in this game too, who knows, they could step up. When you're not playing on the ping that you're used to, it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. And that is going to throw a whole new sort of learning curve into this series, because you saw La Cueva turn it on up at the end. Well, now HSEL are probably going to be on the back foot a little bit and looking to really turn it on up towards their second half. The problem is that La Cueva only really showed the source, only showed their worth in the final minute. La Cueva, if they can just get there by about half time, they should be in a good position.
Well, as we switch servers, it will certainly be interesting to see whether it was just a case of ping adjustment. And actually, we can flip the story, can't we? We can see how HSEL is going to react to that ping adjustment as well. Maybe it's literally a home and an away advantage. Sometimes you're going to be in your home server, sometimes you're going to be in the away server. It means parity. It means parity, and of course, it is an odd number of games here, and so a coin flip has been made. In theory, the advantage is going to be with HSEL, but then again, arguably, as the lowest seed Bacon, they might deserve that advantage. Not that La Cueva will be agreeing with that whatsoever, so you've got to do the business while you've got the server advantage, I guess, as we enter game number 2. It is another advantage and another drive here for HSEL as they look to make an early impression. Flaky, though, missing this touch. Here's Mason, just choosing to bounce it away. A missed effort for Callis, though, and Modulo is going to bounce up. Mason's going to pull out. There's Varsity, but Flaky with a great read to bring it back into the midfield. Modulo closed down by Saucy, and look who's there, it's Flaky! Oh, absolutely lethal.
I'm scared, EuroLeague. HSEL could be on for the perfect run. And that terrifies me. Something rotten. La Cueva. Now, I'm not a biased caster, but, you know, a little bit of love going there where I'm looking at Twitch chat and it is very heavily biased towards HSEL. So if you're a La Cueva fan out there, make yourself heard. Roar out your support because the boys need it.
Looking for demos now. Mason in field. Flaky. 2 committed there. Mason in field. Callis on hand and boxes. He's trying to stick it in near post. This is great offense, but it's going off the post. It is shown to the far side of the pitch anyway, but we should be seeing that on target. Fine margins here for La Cueva, and they are not over the line just yet in terms of quality. The pinch is going to find its way over to the far side. Saucy picking up that touch. Mason misses this one, and Flaky runs out of boost, and so Modulo's going to just put this over to the side. But look at that, Flaky again, another 100 boost pickup in the enemy territory. It's all starting to unravel for LaQuaver as we head to 3 minutes 30. Callis now, far side. Flaky back into the middle. Is he going to get a touch? Yes. To connect with Saucy. Yes. On target. Yes. But a little bit slow was shot as Callis now continues this drive. Again, looking to match up to Mason. Good challenge win here at least. But everyone returning back. They're out of boost. They've had to go downfield. They've had to travel downfield just to get something in the tank. It's away into the midfield again. Flaky. Oh, a team bump. Unfortunate. Wasn't looking in the right direction. And LaQuaver are let off the hook.
That they are, but LaQuaver not able to hold the ball in their opponent's half, not able to follow on up with it to start any pressure. Modulo right now needs options. Left, right, no one found. They're all behind him and in the LaQuaver half, so they're just not viable there. And that's a big issue right now, Iron League. When you move up, you need a second man because that gives you two options at the very least to go for if you're going to go for a back pass, and technically you've got a third because you're just adding on how to pass to your teammate, and that's making life more difficult for the defenders. Right now, if you're from Hicksville, defense looks like a walk in a park, an easy A really.
Oh, and it just doesn't look, it looks very disjointed from LaQuaver here. It does look like they're panicking a lot. There's no calmness. It's very much the complete opposite from what I'm seeing from Hicksville. Just beautiful rotations, lots of midfield control. But honestly, LaQuaver's actually playing into their hands. It's another great shot from Flaky, and there's double commits all over the park from LaQuaver. This is what the panic is essentially evolving into time and time again. And when you double commit on top of double commit on top of double commit, there is no fluency. And it feels like LaQuaver's one chance to get back into this game might arrive on a mistake from Hicksville more than anything of their own making.
Let's hope for no mistakes, of course, but they do happen. Can't always be perfect. LaQuaver right now might be waiting for the perfect opportunity. The lead from Mason, the shot on target, but the defense holds the line. Not going to allow anything on through. Modulo with the pop up in the air, but Mason's just a little bit too slow. Saucy so early onto that one. Flaky with the shot. Just near enough meant to be tempting the defense to move on out, thinking that they've got nothing in it. But realistically, they want that midfield line. They want to just cause a couple of issues for the defenders so that they can then start up their own pressure.
Okay, so 1v1 here, Boxy versus Flaky. Oh, and that's a mistake? No, but look how quick Saucy was to cover the mistake. It's a flick over one, and it's going to go all the way in. A complete misread from the last guy on the line. And well, if the away advantage is what LaQuaver needed, then they are not taking the opportunity. It is now 2-0 Hicksville, and looking very rosy indeed for the team in red.
A mid-air dribble flip reset like that, to then be able to flick the ball up and over your opponent is just, well, a bag of cashews. This is definitely nuts.
That should have been 3. And Hicksville know it. Boxity, midfield. It's got to be a shot. It's going to go backboard. It's going to be a miss on the backboard. Where's the third? At the shot, and that shot not even going to trouble the keepers. A huge pinch. Ends up back in the midfield once again, but time a little bit against LaQuaver. They enter the games a little bit too late. It's almost like half time comes and goes, and then they find some luck, then they find some love. It's a less extreme scoreline than what we saw in game number 1, Bacon, but it's also a scoreline that is worrying for LaQuaver. This was on their territory. This was in their server, and Hicksville showed them up.
They did indeed. And it's just coming down to being able to mount some pressure. It's not a massive difference in the number of shots there. Only 7 coming out from Hicksville, but 4 coming through from LaQuaver. And basically, whenever we look towards, let's just take RLCS teams as an example, you're looking at about a 25% to 30% conversion ratio, aren't you? So if you're only putting 4 shots on net, the chances are you're only going to get 1 goal. So you need to stack up those shots. You need to be looking towards about 8 to try and get 2. then you're in roughly mid territory, and it's going to come down to the skill and the quality of those shots afterwards. So the Quaver have got to get their striking boots on.
Yeah, referencing RLCS as well. Generally, a good day at the office, you're looking at 10 shots registered on target, and we've not seen anything close to 10 shots from either side. And so credit has to be given to LaQuaver. They're at least making Hicksville work for their goals, but that's honestly where Hicksville are impressing me the most. As I mentioned earlier, when they do move up into the final third, every single opportunity looks like it could be converted. And that is making LaQuaver worry. It's making LaQuaver quiver in their boots, for a better want of a term. And I think that game one's gotten into their head as well. They know they should have scored more goals in game number one. They knew that perhaps game one was there for the taking. That first point settled the nerves. But what's actually happened is they've now gone into game number two and they haven't even got one goal on the board. Now, there is a good bit of news for them if things continue to spiral out of control, because, of course, we have a nice big break after map number 3. And so it's not exactly a player or coach controlled tactical timeout as we see at championship series level, but it might give them an opportunity. If things do go that way, of course, we might see LaQuaver come back and really start to take the game to Hicksville. But if it does go out of control, then they need to have a moment to breathe, to realize that they are doing good things. And I think that game number 1 was a better performance than game number 2. Just trust in yourselves and trust that things are going to click eventually.
But at the same time, you got to think with these breaks where we're having to change servers, which you wouldn't normally get. It's just, this is an extreme situation where we're playing online. So and you got East Coast team versus more of like a Mid Coast team, sorry. And so they should be able to use these breaks to talk to each other and come up with a plan. Now, again, naturally, you don't really have any VODs to go over for each other. If anything, Hicksville has the advantage here because we haven't seen them up to this point. They could have been looking over their opponents. But you're just going, okay, where are the weaknesses in Hicksville right now? They haven't really shown many, it's got to be said. So, off the back of that, LaQuaver, you've got to look to cause weaknesses. You need to bring in more demos. You need to steal boost away. Just see how that affects. Basically, you need to play with your food a little bit. You need to go ahead and just prod, see where they get weak. And we haven't seen that from LaQuaver. We haven't really seen a big, heavy demo game come out to see how that affects things. They're struggling to put a little bit of pressure on now. That's purely because they haven't forced on putting an issue onto boost. So just Hicksville don't have an issue there to break out of any pressure. A couple of shots off the backboard and they've still got 30 boost in the tank. So they're able to just near enough be able to rush it on out. You can see they're very competent again clearances, but also off the back of that, they know when to pass into their corners for a teammate very well, and that's such an effective because not only are you not just hitting it straight on out into your opponents, but by pushing it into the corner, you're bringing that opponent on in because they feel they've got to go challenge in the corner. You've got to control the ball. You're able to force the issue, and so you either run it up the wall or you get the clearance there, keeping it close to the wall, and thus you're able yourself to charge onto it because you'll have that mid 100 boost in the mid tank, or you've got the little small pads a little bit further inwards which you could take to just charge upfield onto it, and Hicksville have been doing that pretty easily.
They've been taking the enemy 100 boosts pretty easily as well, honestly, and you can see that although there's a lot of passing around in the midfield, there's much more of a success ratio when it comes to Hicksville. And particularly in that game number 2, the one thing that I kept on noticing was LaQuaver were trying to play to the pace of the game. Well, they were, I guess more accurately, trying to play a faster game than Hicksville, but they were almost playing too fast. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but you've really got to learn to walk before you can run. And I don't want to say necessarily that Hicksville are walking in comparison to their opposition, but you can tell that they're quite happy to play at the pace that they are.
They're comfortable at fast pace. That's as simple as it is.
And they're back passing. You know, they're back passing. They're comfortable in their own half. I mean, we saw in game number 1 as well, Flaky air dribbling the ball to his own backboard to get a pinch out and away. That is a team that is more than happy with how the situation is going so far. It's a bit of an elongated break before we head into game number 3, but into game number 3, we are at last. And so a reminder, if you're just joining us, HSEL in the red, the Cueva in the silver, and HSEL looking to head onto a 3rd win in a best of 7. That would mean 1 more win, and you got match point, baby. And so for the Cueva, what do you want? More demos, maybe. It's an early one on Saucy, definitely the danger man, but Flaky as well has looked excellent. A nice meet on the backboard for Mason, and that flummox of a bunch of players has just left the ball lingering as Box T is out of the play. In it goes indeed. Not so flaky. It's what other chocolate bar is there? I don't know. American people don't understand, but basically it's a good goal. 1-0.
It was indeed. The demo wasn't a bad idea there, but it just wasn't done at the right time. So you still got the attack coming on through. You need to take out either the 2nd or the 3rd man. Where they took out the 1st, he's just going to respawn in. He was rotating back to 3rd man as it was, and all he's going to do is press into the corner, pick up a 100, and then, you know, move into that 3rd man role, get back on into it.
You know, Bacon, I've also noticed something as Flaky there picks up the save from Mason's lofted ball. First of all, Boxer T has changed over to the Octane, made a big save there. You might also notice, and I don't know whether this is mind games or whether it's just his normal livery that he wears, but Boxer T has gone for the Supersonic Legends reward livery, which, as you might recall, is Ready Pinky. And so this might be one of the most big brain mind games that we have ever seen in a competitive match, where he knows that it's a custom color lobby, where he knows that the enemy team is in red, and where he might think that the one way to disrupt the play here is to make his teammates think that they're passing to one of their own, when in fact they're passing to him. Now this might be me thinking too much. The tinfoil hat is most certainly on, but
dude just wants to flex his rank. That's it, you know, pretty simple. Or he likes the color. Quite often I run the silver same decal on my car purely because I like the silver car. I think you're thinking too much into this.
Oh, but imagine if it wasn't. Oh, Flaky, is this a mistake?
They didn't know we were running these colors beforehand. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but now they know. Now we're 2 matches in, Bacon. It's about adapting to the situation. That's what makes the best teams the best teams. You know what? I don't care if you smash my tinfoil hat. It is going to stay on my head. In the meantime, halftime has come and gone. It is still 1-0 HHS. However, I'm going to up the La Cueva defense here. They've been doing a really solid job, actually, just stemming the tide a little bit. And they're looking to move forward as a team. It looks like they're slowing down the play a bit more as well. I like that. I liked that even more from Modulo there. Unfortunate not to slip it under the defender. If it wasn't for that rogue touch, then we would have been talking about a tied game. But unfortunately, HHS have once again stepped it up another gear, and we're actually talking about a 2-0 scoreline once again.
Yeah, Boxy just not able to get up and over that one enough. The hit is very important, though, nonetheless. And it just comes down to 2 teammates looking at it, taking a little bit of time, thinking, are you going for it? Am I going for it? And then just both having to commit. And it's that reaction time which hurts them. Don't get me wrong, they're in a super difficult position, but you need someone to really communicate and take command. Modulo, the captain of the team, he's the one that needs to be taking command, and it's good that he's done this right now.
Ironically enough, Mason's whiff of the ball is what confused the HSEL defenders. And that's credit to HSEL. They're clearly still respecting La Cueva and the quality that they can show. But ultimately, it is that mistake, that rare mistake from the team in red that has given a bit of a lifeline to La Cueva. Modulo now, another challenge win. Is there another one Yes, but not in the direction he was hoping. He picks up that 100 boost at least, and Boxity stops it at the midfield. A double commit here, and look at Mason there, winning the 50-50 against 2. Now Modulo's just stalling out here, and just does nothing with it, and the attack completely breaks down. Is it going to be 3? Mason in no man's land. Flaky still around. Saucy flies about, and Modulo eventually clears it. 1 minute left on the clock. Still a chance for La Cueva, but they gotta put away the chances. It feels like we're saying the same thing over and over again.
In a way, and the problem is the end result is looking to get closer and closer to being the same again, Ireland. I do not want a grand finals to be another 4-0 sweep. Come on, La Cueva. Be able to find the answer right here and now, but the dribble downfield easily met by Callis. You've got to flick that. You need an option either left or right, or perhaps even behind you to force a 50-50. But it just did not have it right there.
It's a demo, but look at that. So easy to bring it infield. And Callis with a cheeky flick up. Mason back in town, back into the centre once again, and they are living rent-free. Boxity, it's off the crossbar. It's helped onto there by Flaky. Mason, good challenge. You've got to score this now. Mason, I thought it was going to get redirected in by Saucy. He actually deals with the situation very well. And what a bump from Saucy. Absolutely outrageous. Mason, can you keep this up? Maybe. Callis drops it to the ground, and Hitsville are onto match point. The number 28 seeds are onto match point.
That is super scary. Again, only 28 seeds because they only played 5 games. They won all 5 of those, but naturally, your seeding is based on how many games you won. So those that went, say 6-2, placed and seeded above. But EuroLeague, I think we need a little bit of a break here.
Yep.
Right now, we need to just try and recollect ourselves, and of course, we're gonna have a little bit of a break after this tournament, after these grand finals, before we get on in to the summer. And of course, summer tournament going on right there. Again, 5th of July. But before that, we have another little event going on, don't we?
Intel Winners Circle. That is the name that you need to pencil into your diary. June 14th to 25th. Those are the dates that you need to pencil into your diary. It's an invitational tournament where some of the best school esports teams are going to be competing for $50,000 worth of prizes, including a guaranteed $1,000 in scholarships to every participating school's esports. That's pretty
don't
darn
play the game,
great.
Just sign up anyway.
Just sign up. It's guaranteed.
Rocket League's not on there, but go have a game of Smash Brothers or Valorant. Easy, right?
It's free scholarship money, baby. Of course, yes, Rocket League isn't featured necessarily on the broadcast side, but there will be broadcasts right here on twitch.tv/Generation Esports. Follow us if you haven't already. Overwatch, Valorant, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 3 really great games, 3 really entertaining games. And they're all going to be live here, June 14th to 25th. Those are the dates. The Intel Winners Open. It's going to be great fun. As will, I hope, the rest of this series. Are La Cueva going to mount the almost impossible task of a reverse sweep in the best of 7? Are they going to mount any comeback at all? Are we going to see Hicksville smash the competition with 2 of their players as seniors? Not many opportunities to do this now. Guess we're going to find out after the break, aren't we? Are we going to return to where it all started, to Sweep City, or are we going to see quite the mountain hike indeed? Welcome back to the High School Esports League Spring Major 2021 version. Welcome back to Rocket League, and welcome back to a series where, despite La Cueva's opportunities, none of them have been taken as of yet. Hicksville, the number 28 seeds, the team that managed to go undefeated but slipped into the top 32 with only 5 wins on the board, are one victory away, 1 5-minute period session, whatever you want to call it, away, Mr. Digital Bacon, from taking the crown for themselves. 2 of these players are seniors. They don't have many more opportunities. I think I wrongly said this will be their last opportunity. They will have the summer as well, potentially, to get in on the act and maybe go for double crowns back-for-backs. We don't know the full story just yet, but what we do know right now, right here today, is that the story is looking very good for them. They have been playing well.
Indeed. And of course, when we're looking at 2 of these lads, Saucy and Callus being seniors, they're going off into the wild world where, ever it be college, university, or perhaps one of our supporters here at the HSEL. All right, Leek, I think you could do this read, can't you, buddy?
Oh, I'm going to have to adjust my glasses. Hold on a second.
Yes.
Okay, no, there we go. We're all good. So let me tell you guys about the Army National Guard. As I have done over the past 9 weeks of league play, it's a great operation, certainly. You can start a career in very exciting fields such as science, communications, engineering, and medicine, all while earning money to further your education. It's a win-win, right? Get paid to learn skills in these high-demand and rewarding professions, all while serving part-time for your local community, state, and indeed, your nation. To learn how to become a citizen soldier, visit nationalguard.com. That is nationalguard.com. And I feel like that is a great transition into the defense situation for La Cueva. They are struggling in offense. They are failing to connect for one reason or another. The synergy isn't there. They have to shore up on defense. Maybe look for those counterattacks, perhaps. Or maybe...
Cueva have fixed their defense as such, or at least they're putting most of their energy into defense. It's not perfect, of course, hence how goals have got on through. But because they put all that focus, those breakaways, those bursts are just not coming on through because they're sort of fatigued after it all, Iron League, and that is the big issue. But the big issue right now is that this could be the very last match. Hicksville seems to have the brooms out, but are they cackling with witchcraft or just cleaning up? 5 minutes on the clock to find out.
Perhaps it's not so much a case of stemming the bleeding, but it's about how can you use your defense to transition into a strong opportunity? The balance must be struck. Or maybe it's not going to be struck. Who knows? What sort of tune will we be singing at the end of this 5 minutes? For La Cueva, they'll be hoping it's positivity for the Silver team. Modulo. Light touch. Flaky picks it up. Nice extra touch to keep it locked into the final third, and a miss from Saucy. But again, as we've seen so often from Hicksville, it is just beautiful transitions as Mason bails his team out. Not for long though, Hicksville stand on the precipice of the crown.
They are looking at the competition, sizing them on up and saying, is this the best we have? I'm looking out into the world, into the Twitch sphere, and going, if this is what we got right now, who are we going to be seeing in the summer, RLE? Because the competition only gets better. You got to think over time just how nuts it is. La Cueva making the whole way here. But Hicksville are feeling like they're on a whole nother level, and I just want to make La Cueva angry. I want to fire that spark in them because they just need that extra little bit of catalyst right now, it feels. And then they would be on that level. Brilliant little bump coming on through. But Saucy is able to recover the situation. Breakaway right now, but Flaky doing so well to read the scenario and put his car in the way.
It just feels like they've got the phone book, haven't they? No matter what number La Cueva ring. HHS have, I tell you what, they have the jammer, but they've managed to cut the line here, Bacon. It's a tie game, 1-1.
It is La Cueva clearly coming in better after that break. He got, I think, 2 goals already, only in 2 minutes. But La Cueva really adjusting quickly off that kickoff. Massive improvement. Another opportunity is Boxity. He's going to claim the lead for La Cueva. Could it be happening?
After so many missed chances, Boxity is finally putting them away. The tables have been turned in game number 3. It's a quick turnaround to be sure. Is it a little too fast? So often we have seen teams who've been able to find some form, but there's still enough time left on the table for the dominant team to find a way back into it. Such a weird position for La Cueva to be in. It's off the post, and Mason again to the rescue. He's not been that great in midfield, a lot of misses in midfield, but I tell you what, in game number 3, he has put up some huge saves, and now a brilliant transition. It's off the backboard, but Flaky reads it so well. La Cueva, they finally look to have woken up.
Modulu can find Boxity there. And Mason holding this in the back line, trying to get that pinch with Boxity. Modulo going to be able to get the clearance to come on through, but look at that back line. It is only Flaky, but he just knows where he needs to be. Clearance is coming through like that, where they're super long. If you've got a man deep, far back, not an issue. But this right now could be an issue to HSEL.
Watch out for Mason. I believe that there is a demo. You can hear it in the background on the way back, and it's been on the way back that we've absolutely praised and lauded HSEL. Look how good they are, look how pacey they are. And just removing that one extra factor, La Cueva changed the game. But HSEL have changed the game before. They do it again now, a rapid response to bring it back to a 1-goal game.
I hate, the changes to DMCA rules and all of that on Twitch right now are elite, because this is definitely looking like a montage, or at least worthy of an epic battle track behind it, because this now, it has taken until the 4th, but it's truly an epic. Modulo up high on the backboard, but he's just not able to keep onto it. Boxley leaving it on the floor as well, and it's all suddenly turned to scrambled eggs.
Is there going to be someone to poach a goal? That's the question. Saucy infield. Mason caught out. And Boxity able to take this one away. No boost. Manages to get it past one. Finds Mason as well. Unfortunate there. A great read from HSEL as Callis now pops up onto this. Infield looking for Flaky. What a goal! What communication in mid-air. Watch this as Callis infield clearly calling Flaky onto it. Boom! Equalizer.
That was always going to be a pass towards center, but because Cal is sticking close to that ball, it really throws questions into La Cueva, where they were starting to doubt themselves, like, do we go for this? We don't know where it's going to be. Could it be a pinch? Who knows? And that decision-making time is really what hurt La Cueva right there, as they were 3-1 up, now 3-all, needed a man there to finish it on off. 1 minute remains. Could we see OT? Or could we see destruction?
It is so just living on a knife edge right now, La Cueva and their hopes. Boxity not going to get too far. Modulo needs this, and he gets it just about. Boxity. Modulo somehow falls onto the loose ball. Not got much boost. Infield, but no one there to latch onto it. And now the counter-attack. Saucy! It's Saucy down, and he puts it down again. And here comes Callis now. It's off the top of the box. It's still not going in. Here's Saucy again. What a save from Boxity. Flaky for another bite of the cherry. Through the corner. Modulo out into the midfield. Absolutely relentless from HSEL, but still no fourth. Saucy now leaving up again, and he leaves it to Flaky, who brings it to the corner. No second touch, and Saucy misses, and Mason trying to break away. Surely not. Callis is back in town. Boxity puts up a great barrier there, Callis, and it's going to go still to Mason once again. It's going to be but beats Saucy off the line. It is going to be overtime. Hicksville being made to work for this.
That they are OTing game 4. 1 goal to potentially decide the fates. And is this going to end? A little bit of a slip up, but Mason just can't get it there in time.
Oh my word. Just words escape me, and now there's people escaping net. It's going back into Saucy, but Modulo's there. It's going over again, and it's going to be Hicksville with the save. Just the defense was clustered. It all fell apart, and Hicksville in overtime have a 4-0 sweep in the grand finals. History repeats itself in the high school esports league, Rocket League scene, and Callis and Saucy on what could be their penultimate or nay final appearance in this competition have their crowns upon their heads. The Kings are dead. Long live the Kings. The 28th seeds walk out as winners.
That's it, flying under the radar, incognito throughout the entirety of league play. Turn on up, looking like the big baddie at the end of the dungeon here in the playoffs, making it to the grand finals and making it look, whilst not easy there in game 4, our league, making it look comfortable nonetheless for the lads.
Commiserations, of course, to La Cueva Bacon, who really brought their A game. Finally, it seemed to that final match as it ended up being, but just a little bit too little, a little bit too late, and ultimately just not enough quality at the final end of the pitch, and indeed in the defense, which we thought they had sorted, but that's what ended up being their downfall.
It was indeed. But talking about quality, you know definitely one brand full of quality. Zaxby's. Let's just have a very tasty ad. Let's go to a break.
What's in Zaxby's new General Tso's sauce? Legendary chicken, legendary sauce. The new General Tso's boneless wings. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, and order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
So it has been decided, another sweep in the books, Bacon. Hicksville go from 5-0, the 28th seeds, to the winners of the HSEL Spring Major 2021 edition in the Rocket League scene at the very least. And $3,000 of scholarship money going the way of the team, 1,000 of that I imagine probably going the way of the person with us right now, Saucy, the supersonic legend, and one of the players which we were just blown away by when it came to your quality, to your just your overall team play as well. How much enjoyment do you have from playing with this team, Saucy? Because it seems like even though you are quite mechanically gifted yourself, there's just like an extra element, an extra level of comfort that comes from knowing that you can back pass or know that you can combine with your teammates to really make some great goals.
Yeah, 100%. With Flaky and Callus, I would just let them ball chase, or I would let Flaky ball chase because he's been playing for like a while recently. He's been grinding. I got him prepared for this event. I really took him out, put him on my shoulder.
Almost it's almost like a mentor situation, I guess. And of course, both of you in your final year, I'm sure Bacon will come to that in a little bit. But how hard did you think this match was overall? Because ultimately 4-0, it's quite a dominating scoreline on the outside, but it seemed especially in that final game, La Cueva really gave you some problems.
For the overall series, we versed them in the playoffs last time. I know one of their players is really good in Module. And when we played against them last time, I didn't really notice any problems that we had previously. So I felt like this series was gonna be either a sweep or like a game 7.
So no in between, Bacon, it seems.
No. Just wow. Crazy there. But one crazy thing, of course, is that you're a senior. This is going to be the last tournament that you can take part in, Saucy. So come on, let us in to some of your plans. Where are you heading off next after high school?
For now, I want to go to Nassau, or my college that's nearby me. Nassau Community College. And after that, I want to see if I could pursue Rocket League in any more of its value.
Oh.
That was going to be my next question, was are you keeping track of the college gate scene? Have you even maybe reached out to some of the players from that college close to you? Are you already getting ready to set up and jump to that next stage? Because not only did you get scholarship money here, but the college gate scene, especially in the US, and that is such a big step up as well, and clearly over Corona times has seen such a big improvement to the varsity events, hasn't it?
Yeah. I definitely feel like this is just the first step for what I want to achieve in Rocket League.
Well, I guess as a final question, perhaps. Let's imagine, shall we? Let's imagine 3 years into the future. What esports team would you fancy playing on right now?
Definitely NRG, because how amazing the org is, how backed up it is.
Oh, go on, sorry.
I doubt I'll ever get on it, but it would be an amazing dream.
But I mean, who knows? We might very well be commentating on you in the future, and I certainly hope so. You seem like a really lovely lad. Great player as well. I mean, we were both thoroughly impressed, and good luck with your education. Good luck, and hopefully we'll see you around the Rocket League sphere soon.
Thank you. You as well.
Well, thank you. It's such a nice lad. Such a nice lad, Bacon. It's lovely. It's always nice having these interviews at the end of the season, of course, because some people are very almost ego-filled, that youthful naivete, where it's oh, the world's my oyster. But Saucy there sounding really grounded, saying he's got his aspirations, honestly. And you know what? Given what we saw today, given the mechanical skill that he has, given that he really led that team, and as he mentioned as well, taking the time to bring Flaky up to the level that himself and Callus were playing at, I think he's got a bright future in the game, personally.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course, like when we look at Rocket League, it's always a weird one because it's such a young esport. When you look at pros right now, some can be 15, some going all the way up to 20. I think the oldest player is still in circulation about 24. But of course, it is a young game compared. So whilst right now he might not be up at the level, you've still got a large window, and of course that window for players is going to grow upwards. So we see the backing put behind the college gate scene, not only from Size, but other companies and other organizations and that as well. So Rocket League has got such a varied path to pro, to being able to use it for a force of good as well as just a force of fun. So I'm excited to see if we ever see Saucy again in the future in other scenes.
NRG, time to put another one on your books. They're pretty good with their scouting systems as well, so who knows? And who knows who's going to be our next champions, Bacon? Of course, the aforementioned Flaky. He's going to still be here. He's going to still be here. And Hicksville are going to enjoy themselves, as previously mentioned, $3,000 worth of scholarship money. I'm not sure whether that is split extremely, equally throughout the players, whether there's anyone else involved, but that is $1,000 extra to all three of these players, which is going to be a huge help in advancing their educations.
That it is, of course, going off to college and such for Saucy. Textbooks cost a pretty penny, so that definitely helps on out in that department, we both know. So, of course, just a little bit of cash here and there does really help on out the development of these players. And they earned it from just having fun on the pitch, so that's fantastic. Of course, they can't put the skills in there, but, I mean, both us here really love the work that HSEL are doing, don't we?
Absolutely. Take it from me, by the way, as a history student. Yeah, those books be expensive. But as you've rightly mentioned, we don't just, of course, have the Intel Winner's Circle coming up in June, but after that, then the HSEL returns. And if you're at this point and you don't know what the HSEL is about, first of all, I consider that quite impressive. Second of all, let me inform you. So the HSEL homeroom is back for a second season, or has been back for a second season. Of course, more to come later on. We'll bring you through that schedule at the end. 3 weekly shows, though. This is the most that the High School Esports League has ever put on in terms of production value, and we really hope that you've all enjoyed it. I know there's a large number of you here today to watch the grand finals, but we've had 8 straight weeks previously of league season as well, which has been hugely enjoyable for us as casters, for you, the audience, seeing the stories of these teams develop, whether it be for good, for bad, for improvement, or otherwise. $30,000 of scholarships up for grabs in the spring major. It's a lot of money. $3,000 going towards Rocket League, of course, and our weekly schedule included Overwatch on Monday, Valorant on Tuesday, Rocket League on Wednesday. HSEL.org, by the way, if you want to learn more information about just everything about how HSEL operates, how they can get involved in your school, whether you're a professor, whether you are just a teacher, an assistant, or even a student who's wanting to get esports into your school, hsel.org is the place to go. But you might be a player, much like Saucy, and you might be thinking, hey, this seems pretty cool. I want to take part in HSEL ourselves, and we've already talked about it previously, Bacon, but we are back in July with the Summer Challenge. Now, it is a shorter season than the spring season. In fact, pretty much 50% of the season is chopped off. So it's short, it's sharp, and it's sweet before everyone breaks for the summer holidays. But registration is available and open now. Participation is free. The competition takes place through July 5th to August 6th. 3 weeks of competition before a grand finals. And plenty of games to choose from, by the way. We got Counter-Strike, we got Overwatch, we got Rocket League, we got Super Smash Brothers, we got Rainbow Six, we got Hearthstone, NBA, chess, Minecraft, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Valorant. That's a lot of games to choose from. So if you like gaming, if you like esports, if you consider yourself perhaps in with a chance of getting yourself some scholarship money at the end of it, what reason is there not to sign up?
That's it. Like, I bet loads of people after watching this tonight was just like, hang on, why is only 3,000 going to Rocket League, when there's only 3 different games getting broadcast each and every week? It's because there's loads of different games going on behind the scenes. And talking about loads of different games going on Iron League, this is only Monday night. This is only Rocket League. We have got 4 more days of action. So let's quickly bring that on up. Same place, same time, each and every evening. Is going to be tomorrow night with Rainbow Six Siege here. On Wednesday night, we'll be showing some Overwatch action. On Thursday, we get a double whammy, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, followed by chess, and then we finish up on Friday with Valorant. League, I know for me, I'm going to be dipping on into that Overwatch. What about you, buddy?
I quite fancy checking myself out some Valorant, Overwatch, Rainbow Six. I might even pop into the chess, to be honest. Of course, I actually used to be part of chess club myself. I wasn't very good at it necessarily, but there are some very smart people who are, and I look forward to watching them on the 19th. Your segues today, Bacon, they were as sweet as cherry pie, but something that is very much bittersweet is when we have to say goodbye. And we will have to say goodbye now until the summer challenge, at least from the Rocket League side of things. And so thanks must go out, first of all, to you, the audience. Thank you very much for joining us on our journey, whether you were here from week 1, whether you were here today to support whichever team, whoever you wish. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast. A big thank you, of course, to everyone at ELO Hell Esports, our production team behind the scenes, the likes of Raf and, of course, Evan Essence, who's been with us for the majority of the weeks. An absolute pleasure to work with him. He is Canadian, and I can confirm they are as nice as the media would you have you believe. And Bacon, let me tell you, it is a pleasure to work with you as always. Us two, we've worked together for a good few years now, and it's just great to sit down and watch some new talent, whether they plan on going forward with Rocket League, whether they plan on going forward with their studies, with a different form of work. This is a great organization to be a part of. The HSEL provides once again.
It does. And of course, the very final shout out going to all the high schools across America, getting their students involved in projects like the HSEL. But until next time, until the summer, July 5th, can't wait for it. Make sure to pencil that on in your books. Go sign up right now. Sign-ups are open. It does feel very sad to say goodbye, but it's not the end. We'll see you July 5th. Until then, stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Ciao, ciao.